Hello and welcome again to another day of a drive and talk. So we're going to do a bit of a drive in, do a bit of a talking. So welcome to Lighthouse 11 Spirituality. And today I want to talk a bit more about what I want to talk about, should I say. Because of obviously what's going on in the world. Still on that topic, I want to talk a little bit about safety. So I think it's a good idea, like to just make sure my clothes are properly. I think it's a good idea to talk about sort of bags, not money bags, actual bags with content in it. That is going to get you to where you need to get to safe. So for instance, currently Israel is, I think, had a small incursion, or an incursion, not small, well they're in Lebanon at the moment. And I'm thinking of those people who are in Lebanon right now, who have literally have to pack and go in a moment's notice. And I'd like to sort of talk about what you might want to pack in your bag, or what you might want to leave in a bag, a spare bag, just in case something like that happens. It don't have to be war, it could be natural disasters. It's raining today. We could have a burst, a burst banks or something like that, and water's just sort of flowed into your living space where you live, and it's impassable maybe. So I want to talk generally about bags. Some people call them bug-out bags, some people call them bag-in bags, some people call them get-home-safe bags. I'm sort of calling it a bag with some content in it. It's quite important in this day and age, I think, to have a little bit of preparedness, because you don't know what's going to happen. You really don't. And at any point, things can go sort of left or can go bad. So I just want to talk about a little bit more about what goes into the bag, why you would have a bag, and so on and so on. And obviously, it's to drive and talk. Whatever comes into the talk as we drive in, that will be sort of left in, basically. So I have a bag. I have a small bag. It's not very big. Actually, I've got a big bag as well, but it's not very big what I have, and it's just got the essential things. For instance, it's raining right now, so one of the things I might want to put in my bag is some kind of way to get out of the rain, i.e. a poncho, an umbrella, some kind of covering that's going to stop the rain from going into my clothes and making me cold. One of the things that I always knew, obviously I've got a sort of background in water and plumber. I've done plumbing, should I say. I don't do it anymore, but yeah, I've done plumbing before. And one of the things that I was taught was, when water passes through you, it sort of draws that heat. So, like for instance, my body temperature and my core temperature is going to drop because I'm wet, and a bit of wind or some icy weather is going to reduce that heat that my body's going to naturally produce. So my body's going to be working hard to produce more warmth. So sorry if I keep burping. I've got something on my belly today. I don't know what's wrong. I've got air or something. I don't know. Another thing that you might want to put into your bag is some kind of medicines. Like for instance, I've got a bit of air, so I might want to find or have something in there that would help with that, basically. So passing through a nice part of London at the moment. I'm going through the tower. I'm going to go about Tower Bridge, basically. I think I can do this without paying congestion charge. In the UK, we have a congestion charge. Basically, it means the government says if you pay some money to them, the congestion doesn't exist anymore. I don't know. There's still plenty of cars. And the congestion and the air quality is the same. So I don't know. It's just a scam, if you ask me. But yeah, so some parts of this drive I'm not going to be able to go down, and that's just because of I have to pay congestion charge, which one day I probably will pay it. show you at the different sides of central London, which is quite hard to obtain and get into without paying, basically. That's how the government like it. But back to the bag, the content bag is, you wanna have things that are gonna either get you to where you're going to or get you where you are back home. So, I've seen online or on YouTube even some crazy people put some crazy stuff in there, and I'm like, wow. You got to carry this bag with you, and for instance, if my car breaks down and I need to leave the car, do I want some big, heavy, massive? I mean, yes, it's good to have loads of stuff with you, and how much of that are you going to use? You need to get home. You need to get home. You need to get to where you're going. So, weighing down the bag, and if it's raining, it's gonna weigh even more. Because the rain's gonna penetrate into the material, and it's gonna weigh you down. It is. So you want to be light for one. You want to keep the bag kind of light, really. And the things you want in there are essential stuff, things that you're definitely gonna need. Water for one, something to eat is for two, and so on and so on. It's important to have these bags. I think now in the world that we're in now, it's so unpredictable that it's probably a good idea to have something close to you just in case you're not able to get to where you're going within the way that you thought you was gonna intend to do. For instance, if you're travelling by train or bus and the bus breaks down, or for instance, I've had it before, going through central London. Some parts of the tube network, the metro, like, can flood a bit like what you hopefully can see now. And because of it, they had to close the tube. So I was on foot. I was stuck on the other side of London. This is the story. I was stuck on the other side of London, and I need to get back to my home, basically. And luckily, I had an umbrella and some money as well, because that's quite important as well. Not a lot, just a little bit. A couple of pounds, 20, 30 pounds. And so I stopped off, got something to eat. The rain didn't give up, so I was like, right, I'm not going to wait here all day. So I sort of made my way, sort of by foot. Trains was off the question. It's not going to happen. It was going to so far. As soon as it got to a level where the actual tunnel had flooded, trains were terminating at the stop before. It wasn't able to go through. Buses were completely packed, and the queues were unbelievable. So I sort of began my journey of walking. I walked, and I felt like I was just walking, and I got home in the end. I got home quite safe, really. But it's just the few things I had on me were just enough for me to get home and not be. I mean, I was working on the site then. My boots were completely drenched. My socks soaked. My phone was all sort of smudged and sort of had got a bit funny because of the water somehow got in and underneath the so it dried out, but it was working after. But just to make a phone call would have been a problem, because one, the screen and the water on it and my hands, it wasn't working properly. It's pushing different numbers. It was a nightmare. So a temporary nightmare. But yeah, it was a nightmare. Welcome to Tower Bridge, by the way. And so it's important to have them, and you don't need to have them just because you're in a war zone or anything like that. You can have it in every day. I mean, this is not very nice weather, and some people are walking around with no umbrella, and probably the wrong jacket maybe. The shell clothing around them isn't water resilient, if you like, and obviously I can guarantee you soaked. Guarantee you. And it's the importance of it. And obviously I had some money on me because they're card machine didn't work, so they was only taking cash. So it's about being, for me, it was about being sort of able to adapt to the situation that I was in, basically. And I got through. Imagine if you had to do that over a couple of days, then the story changes again. So obviously that was just just a freak day, and obviously it was just wet, raining. This was a couple of years ago, by the way, and it's just I've always since then had a bag with me, really, of some sort. So it's quite important, really. One of the other things I want to talk about is when things like that happen. Just obviously there's a lot of people around, and there's a lot of good people in the world, and there is also some bad. So maybe having one of those, I think they're called tactical pen, because obviously in the UK we're not allowed to have anything like anything that's classed as a weapon. It gets into a lot of trouble. I know some parts of Europe and the US and Canada and stuff, you're allowed to have a certain, you're allowed to have weapons, basically. In the UK, that's a big no-no, and you probably get yourself some years in jail for that. So like a tactical pen, it's a pen. I use it to write, but it's built, it's structured, the way it's been built. It's quite well built, and it's made with, I believe it's made with metals of some sort. So, if you had to sort of, I don't know, break the glass, for instance, to help someone get out of the car when they've had an accident, could actually do the job for you. So, obviously, it's a pen, that's its intended use, and it's not a weapon. So you've got to think like that in the UK, otherwise, really, you can get yourself into a lot of trouble. So, one of the other things I'd like to talk about is where you are, where you're going to, or where you're passing through. Now, if you're, for instance, I do some camping sometimes, and when I'm sort of out in the sticks, if you like, I'll probably have like a little saw, some things to process wood, tools to process wood. So it's not too bad. You're by yourself, and there's not a lot of people there. But for instance, if you're sort of passing through a city or built-up place, like pretty much what you can see now, and you run into the forest, that you might need to explain yourself. They might not believe you, and they might think you're sort of up to no good. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, and so you have to know where you're passing to and from as well. So it's a good idea to as I said, pack light, because you never know if you have to run, or if you have to sort of climb or anything like that. Not that you should, but I'm just saying if you had to, you'd be able to. So it's just they're quite important. The sort of the content bags today, they're very important for me anyway. For yourselves, obviously, it's where you live. So, for instance, if you live in a dry place, you may not need to have the poncho. You may not need it. For hot places, you might need to carry more water. Cold places, you're going to need more clothing. So it's just knowing, it's not a one size fits all. It should be really designed for you and or whoever's just going to be using the bag. And if you've got family, young people or old people, for instance, you should obviously adjust to obviously accommodate for them as well. Why I'm talking about this is because back to Lebanon, sorry, where some people from Syria have run some people run from Lebanon to Syria to get away from potential onslaught of destruction, basically. So they thought it'd be safer to go to cross the borders to go to another country. Now in the UK we're surrounded by water, so there's no chance of that. Literally, there's no chance of us sort of unless you want to jump on a boat and go over to Ireland or France or the Netherlands or Germany, Belgium, something like that. Then you're boat for that. That's the only way, or you can fly. You know, it's, I mean, we have trains as well, but yeah. So you know, for UK, people watching from the UK, for instance, that's not going to be something that is going to happen. Basically, UK is quite big-ish. So you know, say for instance, something like a flood, for instance, happened in the southern parts of the UK. You can just go north, basically, or east, or whatever. But you know, that's not the case for everybody. So yeah. So just look into that. There is a lot of content on YouTube. I mean, a lot of content with guys, women, you know, that are talking about this subject. Some I think are sort of overkill. Like I feel like you've got like the kitchen sink in there, and you know what I mean. And it's just like, I'm not going to use the kitchen sink. I'm just going to need the basics to get me to where I'm going to. You know, like for instance, my feet were soaked, so maybe some socks would have been nice. You know, didn't pack them, but I was thinking about, oh man, I wish I had some socks to change into, and maybe some fresh pair of boots or trainers or something. Because obviously I was in my work boots, so they're quite heavy. They've got steel caps, steel soles. They're quite clumpy. They're quite heavy, and yeah, it was just tedious to walk for miles on end with the extra weight. Plus, as well, there was taking on water, which didn't help. Whoa, oh my god, yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, so something to look into. Something I will definitely take that a little bit serious, because, as I said, you know, you never know. You never know the situation. Now, I ain't scaremongering. I don't want to be scaremongering people, but I'm saying if you're just a little bit prepared about things, it just makes the situation, if you ever come into it, just a bit more easier to deal with. And I feel we kind of live in a place where, well, I live in a place where there is, like, if you can see, there's a lot of shops, there's a lot of people. You know, you're not really by yourself. I mean, you're not like in the outback of Australia, or you know, the deep sort of forest in Canada, say. So you're not on your own, sort of thing. But there is access to a lot of things. But again, most of what we rely on is sort of electric. You know, if the power was to go down, most of the shops probably will close. One, because they won't be able to turn the tills on, and two, it'll be dark. And yeah, so a lot of people probably, and obviously CCTV and stuff like that, probably wouldn't be working, which brings me back to the other thing we was talking about with self defense. So you know, other than sort of carrying a tactical pen, you know, you're down to what you can do. You know, and if you're, say, a woman and a man attacks you, say, because he feels like he can, because there's no one there, or there's no one recording or watching. Some people would use that to their advantage, and obviously take the absolute Ricky, and you know, do some horrible stuff. You know, so it's just being a bit mindful about things like that, really, to be fair, and thinking about your personal protection, and sort of taking it seriously. Right. So we've got that part done now, yeah. So that is something that we have discussed and talked about. Something hopefully you would look into yourself, and you know, you design your bag for your personal use, and what you would need out of that. I mean, for instance, if you are someone who wears glasses, for instance, you may want to take you may want to take some spare glasses in case your glasses get broken, if you need them, or medication. If you say you're someone who needs pharmaceuticals, you may need to take a medicine at certain times. Something that people do in a way, but I'm just saying, you know, just to clarify. That big C you can see is a congestion charge sign, so that means I can't turn right. So to the left to go towards Necros, a nice area. It is a nice area down there, to be honest. I like it down there. Some people don't. It can be a bit rough sometimes, but I thought if you keep yourself to yourself, and you pay no one no mind, during the day, it's totally fine. Night time might be a bit sketchy. So so it's knowing your area, knowing the area that you're going into, and knowing the kind of people that possibly could be there. And that's with every area. I wouldn't even think about sort of looking at certain areas and going, they're safe. It's not the area, it's the people that work or move within that area that maybe sometimes would be the problem. So yeah. And obviously, I believe that the way the things are going at the moment, and I think I've seen this before in some of my other content that I've sort of put up, is about things breaking down, and your everyday policeman, policewoman, may not be there to help you. So it's like sometimes it is you should take your personal safety really seriously. And everything I'd like to talk about is, and I've talked about this as well on my channel, is about stalking. Going down dark alleys and stuff like that. Man or woman, it really doesn't matter. You should really be thinking if that's something you want to do, especially in crisis, things like that. Because I don't have much faith in the UK police. I think they, and I'm going to be straight up, I think sometimes UK police at the moment we have a thing called two-tier policing, and that is like basically the police have different standards for different sectors of the society. It's a real thing here. It's a real thing. It's been going on for a very long time. I mean, for instance, stop and search. You're more likely to be stop and search if you're a black person in the UK than you are if you're Caucasian or a different ethnicity. And that's something that has been going on for a flipping long time. And I feel like more now it's being put into a lot of people are starting to see it now from different ethnicities now, because it's more prevalent now than it has ever been before. But being someone of colour, something that we kind of deal with, we've been dealing with for a very, very long time. And I can talk about my sort of elders talking to me about times when they've had problems associated with the police, and the youngest get it as well. I feel a bit sorry for the younger lot, because they've got an added worry, because obviously they've got people of their age who they may or may not have problems with, who possibly could come at them more say than someone who's a little bit older like myself, who kind of move away from sort of that way of life and working and what have you. More time than not, I'm either going somewhere or come back from somewhere, and I don't spend that much time on the streets, really, to be fair. But if you're young, you probably don't drive. You probably have to use public transport or some mode of getting around, i.e. cycling or what have you. So you're gonna run into people, kids, whatever. You're gonna run into them at some point, and not everybody sees life how you see life, and depends where you come from. You are treated. So you're treated the way that is that. Let me start again. You're treated the way that people perceive you. So, for instance, if you come from a rough area, you're more likely that you're gonna incur some kind of issues, maybe, or you might be in with everybody and you're cool. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but that's not for everybody. So it depends on you as a person. So, again, it's not a one size fits all situation. I wonder if you can hear my music. Hope you can't. It's in the background, very, very low. Hope you can't hear it. If you can, well, you can. So yeah, so I actually got quite good feedback from the last drive talk that I done, and I was actually quite liking it. Enjoyed the drive as well. Hope you did as well. I didn't get much comments though, or any, to be fair, which is fine. It is what it is. Some people just want to watch and listen. Don't want to put into the conversation, which is fine. I'm not sort of moaning about that at all. But what would be nice though would be to have some likes and shares. That would be nice. That would be really nice. Try and grow the channel a little bit, because I'd like to do some more of these. I'd like to further out myself a little bit. I actually do enjoy driving, to be fair. So yeah, it'd be nice. Take this one. Obviously this kind of thing can happen. Obviously I haven't planned this at all. It's just I just jumped in the car, finished work, and I was like, right, I feel like I fancy sort of putting some content out. So it's shit day. I'm sorry about my language, but it's a shit day. So it's like, why not go and enjoy the motor, if you like, and do a bit of driving, do a bit of talking at the same time. So I want to talk some more about the current wars that's going on, because I'm kind of worried that this is going to turn into something more bigger than what it is at the moment. I mean, yes, Israel. Some people believe it was protecting itself. Some people believe it was being a bit of a bully. And me, I'm being neutral in the whole thing. I don't like what I see, but I'm going to be neutral. And I tell you why I'm going to be neutral. I'm probably going to upset some people. I want to be neutral because although what I'm seeing is quite bad, and although very bad, on both sides, coming up to the anniversary of the 7th, I believe it was the 7th of October. Coming up to the anniversary, and there's there's a lot of things going around at the moment, i.e. For instance, the walkie-talkies blew up, or not walkie-talkies, they blew up as well, but the pagers from Hezbollah, I believe, the Hezbollah, their pages blew up, and they took out recently the head of the organisation, and so on. I want to go a bit more deep. Because I watched this film. I can't tell you for the love of money what the name of the film is. But I know the first one of our lovely mates. The film was based on before Palestine. It was on the same area. Was under the Christians, and the Christians was taken out by a Muslim prince, I believe. I can't remember his name right now. I really can't. I need to watch the film. I actually need to get the name of that film, really. If I do remember it, I'll put it in the notes. So I might even look to see if I can remember it or find it, do some research. If I can, I'll put it in the notes. And it was taken over. Pretty much what happened in 1947, basically. So for me, I feel like the whole situation was within the Middle East. It's like a revolving door. And when I say that, I mean it's now currently Israel is sort of the custodian of the land there. Before that, the Muslims or Islam was the custodians, and before that, the Christians were custodians. And throughout history, that has been repeating. Wars have been fought over that land for such a long time, and it's sad because I a lot of people have died over the centuries. You know, a lot of people have died over the centuries, lots, and it's just history repeating itself. So for me, I don't want to be. I want to pick a side because I feel almost like in the next 100 years, it'll be the Christians again, or it'll be the Muslims again. Man has always fought over that part of the world, and they're not going to stop. The way I see it, it's never going to stop. They'll always. I believe this is Peckham, by the way. They're always gonna fight over that part of the land, and it's because there's the Holy Land, if you like, is respected by 3 of the main religions at the moment, and that's Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. It's always been like it. So they've always fought over this land. So for me, I feel like it's history. It's history just repeating itself. So I don't want no part of it. I don't, because I feel like you know, all this time you fought over this land, nothing has changed. You're still gonna fight over it, and it's gonna be infinity, regardless of who's there or what year we live in or whatever. They're gonna be fighting over that land unless it's completely destroyed and no one can live there, which then would be a disaster for all religions, really, because all religions have something that goes back there. You know, they all look at this part of the world, and they're all very it's a very yeah. So they've always fought over this part of the world. So, and that's my way there, wherever you went. So you know, so it's always been there. They're always going to do this, and no matter what you do, no matter what you do, no matter what you do, the people are gonna fight for it. You know, religion, most wars that, if you look at history, most wars are fought from a religious pretentious. It's because people are very devout in the way that they in their beliefs. So I mean, I'm more spiritual than I would say religious. I would say that, and something that I've developed over a little while now. But I've developed that understanding that actually it's better to be spiritual and to take the spiritual side of religion rather than to be religious per se. I'm not saying I don't believe in the scriptures and stuff, but I know, for instance, we want to talk about King Henry VIII. A little bit of history about him. If you don't know about King Henry VIII had a lot of wives, and he wanted a son. He wanted a son so badly, and he kept marrying women who produced girls. And obviously, in that time of that world, you needed a man. You needed a man to basically, a woman couldn't do it. So they fought, and they always wanted a strong male to be the heir to the kingdom. And obviously, being Christians and being Catholic back then, the Pope would not allow a divorce. Just couldn't allow it. So what Henry done was he basically sacrificed, if you like. He sacrificed his wives because they kept producing girls. So that's a bit thirsty. And that was his way around the system, if you like. So he just, beheaded or whatever. He done that quite often until he decided that he wanted to make his own religion, which is currently Protestants. So Protestant, you're allowed to get divorced in Protestants. Protestants believe in that, And King Henry VIII sort of manipulated he manipulated the teachings to suit himself, basically. So some religions now will say our religion has not been adapted to any man, and like for instance Islam will say this, and so probably so would Judaism will say the same thing. We have kept our religion. I mean, Judaism is the longest religion. I think that with Hinduism, I believe, I think Buddhism, I believe, going back, looking at my studies from back in the days, is the longest, and I think Judaism, hold me to this if I'm wrong, please. Judaism and Hinduism, around about the same, around about 5,000-6,000 years old, I believe. They haven't really been adapted in that time. So Christians came along, Jesus. You can call him Jesus if you want to. Although there was no J in the English language until I think 16 something. They made the J or something, and then it was Jesus. So Jesus, whatever his name is, it was a Y instead of a J. If I'm right. So yeah. So that's where sometimes people will look at Christianity and say, "Oh, it's been changed. Man has changed it." And I've talked to some very good some Muslim people that kind of really stressed that, wanted me to really understand that when we had our little talk and stuff, which is I respect, because I respect. I've got to be loud there. I respect all religion, because I feel like all religion really has, in my humble way of looking at things, all religion has something good to give. It also has something bad to add to it as well, but there's something good to bring to the table. So, for instance, back to Henry, he changed it. And a lot of, not just Henry, but a lot of European countries done the same. Like for instance, you've got the Church of Sweden, you've got the Church of the Netherlands, a Church of... I mean, there's a few that haven't. I think France never did. Neither did Ireland. I think they are Catholics, and I think Poland and other countries. But there are a lot of countries that was like, oh, Henry's right, we want to do that too. So they had their own church also, indoculated, or I think it's called dogma. They had their own dogma to follow by. That's where you can hear that tune. That's a tune as well, by the way. So, oh, can you believe my cousin's calling me? Really? So, I hope you can still hear me. So, so basically, before we was ever alive, it had been changed up. So, that's why I want to be neutral. Because a lot of this, man has changed, and man has caused some of this from prior. I mean, even if you look at Christianity when it was formed, for instance, and I'm going back to the days with the Romans and the Caesars and stuff, I was told that, I read, should I say, that some of the Christian practices are pagan. Some of it's pagan stuff which they wanted to incorporate. They tried to sort of 300 years. Christianity was sort of illegal, sort of, it was a bad thing. Bogeyman's religion, you should never dare. And Christians sort of followed their religion in secret, and they done that until the book was written about 300 years after what Yeshua. After Yeshua had been on earth 300 years later, then they wrote the book. And I don't want to go into religion because it's a very religion and politics, which we talk about here. I don't want to go into it because of what's going on at the moment. I feel like I don't want to add any logs onto the fire. I really don't, because I don't want to cause anyone to feel insulted or be sort of, feeling that I've misinterpreted something from my own studies and got it wrong, or maybe I've got it right. I don't know. But I don't want to upset anybody, and I'm not here to upset anybody. So that's why spirituality is, for me, a good option, because you respect all religion. For instance, I meditate and I pray. I do pray. There's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with praying. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think praying is very good. I think sometimes, if you got to remember to pray in good times as well as bad times. I think that's a good thing to do, and not just when things are going bad, I want to pray to God. Oh God, please help me. I feel like that's that's Henry's energy there. If you ask me. So when good things are good, I give thanks and I pray. When things are bad, I also give thanks and pray. And I feel like there's something that if people really did more devout, like they are, they would agree with me. And it doesn't matter where and what religion you believe in. That is something that religion brings to the table, And it's like back to race, regardless if you're black or white, or Caucasian. Sorry, that's a bit weird. Caucasian, or you're whatever ethnicity you are. If you was to draw blood, it's gonna come out red. So we all bleed the same, really. Is what my point is. Yeah, and if you have to look under a microscope to see a person's ethnicity, that shows something. It shows that obviously you have to go that deep into someone's blood, which to tell where they come from. And I feel like that's just like looking into someone's hair or someone's back or something like that sorry to speak, to see who they are. And I think that's a bit intrusive. That's why I think we're all brothers and we're all sisters, regardless of where and what religion you believe in. This is what I believe, basically. And if we kind of adopted that, I think maybe some of the wars, like, would you drop a bomb on your brother? It's like that. Would you go and do the things that happened on the 7th of October? Would you have done that? But there's a certain amount of divide and rule that I feel like it's still prevalent in the world, and that's what brings us to these wars. It really is. I mean, a lot of it is to do with how the UK, Great Britain back then, and United States, when they was sort of partitioning up the world, to change the way that we see the world today. Partly that was because of it. I think that Britain done the same in India, with Pakistan and Bangladesh, and they done that all around the world, And whether that was a good idea or not, I don't know, because we're still fighting over these parts. I mean, if you want to change the demographics and go over to, for instance, India and Pakistan, for instance, it's the same thing. The Muslims and the Hindus fight. They fight all the time over Kashmir, and that could kick off anybody as well. Really, to be honest, I don't think it actually ever stops. I think it just slows down a little bit and picks up again. So I need to pick up my speed. I think these guys are saying I'm driving too slow. My drive and talk is a bit faster. So it's lots. There's a lot to it, man. I'm not blaming Britain, man. I'm not blaming the US. I'm saying, the guys at the time who was in control of the world must have thought that was the best option. They probably did actually think, why can't you have two states together that can work together? Why is that a problem? forgetting a little bit, or maybe they didn't forget. Maybe they knew exactly what they were doing. I can't speak for that because I was never alive, and I still don't know, you know, the reasons why they done that. Not truly. I don't think no one really does. But nevertheless, it is what it is. We're living in the world today, which was made for us back then, and basically we have to deal with it. Unfortunately, people are dying, unfortunately, and something that, you know, I don't know if that could ever change. I really don't believe it would. I believe, even if, for instance, you know, let's look at hypothetics. Say, for instance, Israel, you know, completed their mission, because I believe it is a mission, and they managed to eradicate all of what's going on at the moment, and it was Israel was, you know, a nice safe, and, you know, people didn't come over to their lands and do what they done, you know, dig holes and trenches and tunnels, what have you. We're living in that perfect world, as you would like. Would it be a moment or time when someone else or some of the other aspects of religion says no, that's wrong, and come back and never? I think so. I don't think it would ever change. I really don't. I just feel like this is a battle that is always going to happen, and whoever's got the biggest manpower, i.e. the biggest army, or the strongest army, or the best tactics, are always going to do what they can to have sovereignty. For some reason, I must be retired. I can't get words out today. To really have that land and own it, you know, in a sense, and to be able to do what they want with it. So, you know, if Islam had say it's flipped, and Islam had got their way, it's the same. They would do what they believe was right for their religion and for their people. So, you know, if we all was the same, and I'm not talking about no New World Order stuff, I was talking generally, you know, we're always gonna see this. It's always gonna come up in the news. We're always gonna have conflict within that part of the world and other parts of the world as well, like I pointed out earlier. Some people will disagree with what I'm saying, and some people will obviously look at that from a different aspect and go, actually, I'll make a bit of sense. I'm not trying to get sympathy, or I'm not trying to choose a side. This is why I'm going neutral, because I feel like it's bigger than me. It's bigger than what I could ever, you know. And I'm just picking a side, say, oh, this is bad what they're doing, or that's bad what they're doing. It doesn't stop the killing. It doesn't stop the people from being taken off of this world. And it won't resolve the issues. It just won't. So as much as I disagree with what's going on, I physically don't know. Wow. Did you see that hole there with big shit hanging out of it? Yeah, so I don't think it's ever going to be resolved. So I don't want to choose a side, because I'm not that I want to choose the winning side or the losing side. No, it's just that's my belief, and like everyone has their beliefs, that's mine. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, if you can agree with it or you can't. I hope we don't go to war over it though, because that's my beliefs. Do you know what I mean? But I hope people respect my beliefs for my beliefs, and it's not sort of have an issue with it really. I'm sure if I keep going this way, I'm going to go to central London. Yeah, it's telling me. So I'm going to have to take a turn. So that's where I am at the moment with what's going on in the Middle East. I see this happening. I saw this happening. If anyone cares to, they can actually go to my predictions. I predicted something like this would happen last year, I believe. Or maybe it might be last year. And and unfortunately, is starting to come into play. And 2025 is really fastly approaching us. And just looking at the situation at the moment, it looks like what I was predicting seems to be realising itself. I'm not saying that because I want to boast about it, because there's nothing to boast about with people dying and people being moved out of their homes. Both sides. You know, the Israelis and also the Muslims. This is, however you look at it, it's a holy war, and it's always going to be a holy war, because as I said, the religions are fully behind that part of the world, and they've got a lot of history in that part of the world. And this is what, tying back into what I'm saying about the whole situation. It's just sad that we can't all live together and just be peaceful about it. But I mean, if one side is being peaceful and the other side perceives it not to be peaceful, it's not going to work, is it? So it's got to work for all sides and not one side, and that's the hardest part of the whole situation, because one side will never look at one religion will never look at the other religion. Okay, that's fine. We will work under you, even if it's never going to happen, because it's divine, isn't it? And divine's at the top, basically. And a lot of people struggle to understand that. I think they do, because they believe that they are right, and maybe they want to compromise, maybe, or can't see a compromise in the situation. Maybe I can't talk for other people. So that's why I hope I haven't offended anybody, but that's why I choose to be neutral. And I don't agree with what's going on. It doesn't mean I agree with what's going on, because I really do not. I don't think both sides doing what they do, or done what they've done, say, justifies what they're doing today. I just don't. I just think it's horrible. Probably like to take a little moment there, just to let that sink in a little bit. And everything I'd like to bring to the attention, right? Is the way that sort of let's look at America for one. Yeah, let's look at America. Let's look at America for one. You know, very developed country. It's the most developed country in the world. As it stands, it's still relatively powerful. You know, China's creeping in a little bit, but it's relatively powerful. It's still got a little bit of power around the world. It can command a little bit of power, but I feel like that's seeping away. So I'm going to be political now. I feel maybe the Israeli government can see this as well. So what they have done, maybe, is what my interpretation is. What they have done is, which I believe they're doing, is they're like, right, the power is slipping away from from our top mate, the US. So maybe we should act and do what we need to do. Otherwise, we might not be able to do it. And I feel like the other side is saying that as well. America's starting to lose its grip. Maybe we should act and do. So the new up and coming power, which I do believe is China, and I do believe China in the next sort of not long distance but short distance, will be the ruling, if you like, the authority of the world. I'm saying, and I don't know where that would leave America. This is the thing, and I that's why I predict war. I predict war. I believe it's going to start in the Middle East, and it's going to spread out. And your bag that was talking about at the beginning of the talk, your content bag. I don't know if it's the guys with the big heavy content, loads of stuff in there. I still don't think that's going to be enough there, because if you start using nukes, as scary as they are, if you start using nukes, as in the nuclear deterrent, is it worth carrying all that content? All of that's in your bag is going to be unusable, or it's going to just be contaminated because of radiation. The water's going to be irradiated, the animals are going to be irradiated, the plants are going to be irradiated. So, unless you have a bunker somewhere, which some people do, even then, like, you can take the food and the water down with you and the oxygen and then what have you. What are you, as two of our mates, it's the second lot, what are you actually sort of going underground for? I mean, one thing that I looked at, and I'm sure some other people have raised this as well, is Antarctica. And it's something I thought about the other day, and I was just like, oh, geez, the only part of the world that we're not allowed to go to, the only part of the world we're not allowed to fly over, the only part of the world that is the conditions for man is quite harsh, is Antarctica. It's unexplored. We don't really fully know what's there. I mean, we've got for science reasons, we have people. Hold on 1 second, I've got my hot drink. We've got obviously scientists over there, and they're doing their scientific work, and I'm sure it's very important. Oh, there's number 3. We've got our science. Look, these guys are coming. I'm sure they're listening to me. Not being paranoid, but I'm sure they are. But for scientific reasons, obviously we can't go over there because we might contaminate their whatever they're doing, basically. So the main human core, we're not gonna have like the core food, like a beefer style holidays where you've got DJs over there and clubs. Although it is quite a big part of the big continent, believe it or not, it's absolutely massive. Other than the ice that's there, I mean, if you was to radiate the world, say, would Antarctica be a safe option when you come up? Would you sort of come out of your bunkers and head to Antarctica, because it'd probably be melted there, with all that heat that we produce from them nucleus going off? Would that be melted? Would you come up and see? I mean, I don't know if there'd be a forest there or like green or anything, but would that be safe to go there and set up a new civilization? Maybe is that what these guys are thinking when they say we're going to set off nukes, we're going to do this, we're going to do that? It's just what got me thinking was I was watching one of my good guys that I like to watch. I'm not going to say his name, and he was talking about a country, which I don't want to say their name, was doing reconnaissance around there, and they happened to be sort of flying around, and they was checking around there, sort of thing. So is that the big plan? Like majority of people will be taken out, and the people that survive would naturally go there to start again a new race there, to start repopulating the world from Antarctica. I mean, it's a bit far-fetched, but then is it? It's the only real place on Earth where we actually don't know a lot about. And it's like we know about a lot more about space. We know a lot more about, I don't know, Egypt than we do about Antarctica, really. Ancient Egypt goes, they've got a very rich history, but Antarctica, it's quite, do we have a lot of information about it? Only what we've been told, no one, I don't know anyone who's been to Antarctica on holiday. I don't. And if you do, you're very lucky if you know someone who's been on yourself. I mean, there is expeditions over there. You know, you can go over there, but it's extremely expensive, and I think because of the severe weather, I believe it's quite. God, everyone ever makes that now. I believe it's a bit unsafe to just walk around barefoot and without really good clothing. So a lot of people kind of be put off by that, you know. Plus as well, I'm not sure if you get a lot of sun over there. So all those people that want to sunbathe, I think that's well off the I don't think that's happening. You know, so alright, so let's stop being silly. No, but seriously, no, you know, it's something that I was looking at and I was just thinking, wow, is that viable? Is that viable? Because I just think, you know, people that got bunkers, what on earth are you gonna do down there? All that time down there, like you won't be able to come up in your lifetime. So are you planning to have kids down there and have a family down there and you raise a family? And I mean, what is it that you're gonna do? You're prolonging life, so you don't see it, but I mean, I can imagine people's bunkers. I can imagine if you've got, like, I don't know, if you've got sort of money like, you know, my man, Mr. Tesla, say. I can imagine if he's got a bunker. I actually don't know, but I probably imagine he has. Probably got a couple, isn't he? And if you used to go into his bunker, I mean, would you ever want to come back up again because of all of the stuff that's down there? But still, nature, the real everyday, you know, divine nature, that will never be the same. I mean, even if you did take some animals down there with you and plants and what have you, it's never going to be the same, is it? But in saying that, if you used to have a family down there and you used to sort of come up to the surface and make your way over to, say, Antarctica, would the people that had never seen what we see right now, obviously through the cameras, and you know, lived on the upper surface of Earth, would they, you know, they're not obviously going to see all this. I mean, they might see it on sort of, you know, I don't know if there's people, you know, got the internet, what have you, and they've recorded what it's like living around this time. What people done in, you know, vehicles, what have you, and stuff like that. Would they just accept it? Would they just accept that that's the new way of living? You know, that's what I'm thinking. Is it worth it? I mean, personally, I feel like I'd rather just be sacrificed. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I mean, I don't need my bag then. Don't need it. Because the struggle, which, you know, I mean, I know that they talk about tactical, and you know, but really, how tactical is it, man? I mean, realistically, if tactical or not, like Chernobyl, which was in the 80s, I believe, Chernobyl made sheep and that act completely different. It changed the surface of the land. I mean, there's some parts of that area still man can't go to because it's just so contaminated. So realistically, that's not even the real, you know, the real thing. That was an accident that happened in a safe power station that obviously failed. Basically, it wasn't intended to ever happen, you know, but it did. So if man decided actually, I want to take you out, I mean, is there going to be any worth staying on this planet? I don't think so. I really, really don't. So that's why, that's another way of looking at, you know, another way of looking at the world and looking at the situation and seeing it for what it is, basically. We're going to go back over our lovely little bridge again. We're going back over to the other side of the water. So in the UK, right, if you pass any bridge in London, you're in South London, basically. And that's how it is. So south, as my South friends always told me, you cross that bridge, you're in South, don't care which one. And it's funny because when you speak to the South guys, they really love their area, they really do. And they obviously I'm not from South, but they really love their South of the water. They really do. And I admire that really, because you know South is completely different compared to the other side. 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to be done. I don't want to take it. Yeah, so they really love their side of the river, and I respect them for it. I really do, because you know, as they say, cross that bridge, you're in our area. But this is there's a reason why I said that. You know, just looking deep into the whole situation. You know, that is another division that I feel like the water's done that. You know, from one side of the Thames to the other side of the Thames, produces a different type of people. I'm not saying bad people, I'm just saying different type of people. The South people, so different parts of London operate completely different. London isn't universal, it really isn't. And I think I've mentioned this as well in some of my content. You know, London and the UK really is full of pockets of different types of people, different communities, and the South community would totally understand what I'm talking about when I say that. Right. Yeah. So that's my little story about sort of going into depth really about why really having a heavy bag might not always be the best way. It might not. Do you know? And if you did have to have them heavy bags, like some of those YouTubers I've seen, like what is it that you're gonna? So most of that what you've taken with you, you'd be contaminated, and probably it'd be unsafe for you to have it around you. Really, to be fair, because of the radiation. I mean, the best prevention would be obviously not to have those bad ones. You know, those bad. I don't like to say that word because I don't want to be striked. Probably am with the music, but yeah, they. What am I in the walkway? Yeah, so you know, the best way is not to have that, but obviously you and I, generally people speaking, and I hope it's just me speaking. I mean, if the government listening to this, and you know, I'd like to them to know that to be responsible with their button. But the general persons like me and yourself, we don't have access to that. So technically speaking, we would never be in a position to make that call. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And if we was in that position to make that call, it would be a hard decision. I would imagine. I don't think you'd want to just like pop the button for something silly. It has to be something serious. And I feel like Russia, for instance, we're going into Russia now. Russia, for instance, you know, sort of saying we would push that button if, for instance, Ukraine was to go over red lines that they've set the world basically. And it's the same for the world. The world now. Do you listen to the Russians' red lines and go, right? You know, we don't want to upset the Russians, so we're not going to do that. And it ties back into what I was talking about with religion. You know, and it's the same thing. Are you going to live under Russia and under Russia's conditioning, or do you want to have your own conditioning and live your own life to how you see it should be, you know, should be lived? And this is the whole thing all over again, you know. And it's the reason why, you know, like, you know, the world's, we're always going to fight over something. We're always going to do it the same way you did when you was at school, you know, and someone, you know, looked at your girlfriend or whoever, the person that you liked, the wrong way, and you like, nah, you're not doing that, you know, the schoolboy stuff, you know, the schoolboy stuff, we all done it, or the schoolgirl stuff if you're a woman. you know, and getting into disputes, if you like, or a little tump up over it. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's always going to happen. And I feel almost like, you know, it's like the big boys and their toys, i.e. The nuclear powered Arsenal teams, if you like. You know, there's not a lot of them, but there's enough out there to really make a big problem for just about everybody else: man, woman, child, plant, animal, bird. You know, it just, you know, I just want people who can push that button to really take that in heed. What I'm trying to say. You know, if they are listening, I don't think they are, but if they are listening, you know, don't be silly with that button, please. I mean, think about it, man. We all want to live. Man has survived for how long? And now man has made something that can take that survival away. And we should be responsible about how we use that button. Because obviously it'll affect the next man as well as yourself. And it'll probably affect you as well, even more than you think. Because, I mean, maybe your bunker's good. Maybe it's good, man. Maybe it is. But it's a substitution for the world that we see it. There's you know, I mean, you could have flaws, you can have different areas. What about fresh natural air? You know, the air that you can, you know, like when it rains and you're in a plant infested area and you can smell all the lovely, I don't know, you can smell that lovely flora, if you like, just coming through because the weight of the rain just dropped onto the flower or onto the leaf or onto whatever. And it's just produced a really nice aroma, and you know, over a big area, that aroma is really strong. That's something that you might not be able to do. I mean, you can recreate it with, you know, man can recreate things. You know, man can recreate the sun's heat. You know, and it's just, you know, you're forgetting nature. You're forgetting. It will never ever be the same for our generation and any other generation coming after us. And that's something that needs to be taken a little bit seriously. And I feel like saying that you've got a big weapon and you're going to use it. Yes, to be sovereign. There's that word. To be sovereign and to have your lands that's yours, and that stands for what you stand for. Yeah, I understand it. That is something to really cherish and to fight for, but at the cost of the world. I mean, it's ignorance. It is. I'm sorry. It's got to be said. I don't mean to offend these top guys. I don't want to. You just send your guys for me, because yeah, I do love living. But at the same time, I accept that if I had to die, I had to die. You know what I'm saying? But it would be nice. It'd be nice to leave something for the people that didn't have to die. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. So a little message there to the guys with buttons and the galleys with buttons. So yeah. Going on for an hour and 13 minutes. And if you're still watching, I really appreciate you, and the drive and talk continues. Now we're going to go back over the bridge now on the other side. So when we get to the bridge, I imagine that'll probably be our talk and our drive and talk today, basically, which I've also enjoyed. And I welcome you to, if you want to, look out for another drive and talk, or I'd even welcome even more if you was to like and share. I'd like that. But but seriously, man, woman, you know, there is some shit that goes on in the world. There's some bad stuff that goes on in the world, but there's also some good stuff that goes on in the world. And I feel like at the moment we're concentrating on the bad stuff that goes in the world, so it makes it easier to like push buttons. Look, this is happening. But look at all the good stuff that happens in the world. we don't see enough of that in the news. We really do not. You know, the news is propagated, I believe, to produce negative, to produce negative, you know, the negative side of what's going on in the world. And some of the good stuff that people do, we do, I do, you do, it kind of gets lost in the source, doesn't it? It does. It gets lost in the source. You know? And war is one of those ways that can easily do that. Now, I'm not trying to get any money for this particular video, because I believe you can hear the music, and I just know that I just know there might be a problem with this one. But then all of my content is a little bit sketchy like that, to be honest. I feel like I talk about things that the mainstream don't really talk about, and I actually like that. And people will say, "But what's spiritual about this?" It's you got to look deeper, you know. You got to look deeper. It's from a different perspective, you know. I say you got to look at it sometimes. I mean, I will get into some spiritual stuff, because I do have a lot of spiritual stuff to talk about. But you know, sometimes it's what's going on in the world. Sometimes can distract you, and I feel like it's important to cover these things sometimes, and not just to live in la la land and only talk about the things that you know, the subjects of the channel. When there's some serious things to be talking about, like you know, like today, sort of thing. You know, I try to keep it a bit light if I can, because obviously I don't want this to be the place where you know you're gonna sit there and be like, feel like people or you know myself are trying to scare you or you know take you out of your peace, because I'm not. It's just like, you know, sometimes you do need to take a moment to look at, you know, how things are at the moment and where its direction of travel is going. And at the moment, I'll be shocked if we could live another century, to be honest, right now. I don't think we'll make it the way things are going at the moment. So how you see things now, we may be the last people on the surface of the earth that see it the way we see it, and the rest of it will be maybe gone forever. Maybe. There's not a lot we can do, you know. If someone decides to get up in the morning and push a button, like, what can we do? We all gone, innit? And that's how you got to look at it. I mean, I'm not going to sit there with tin foil on my head, and you know, because there's no point really to it. I mean, it's time, innit? And it's just making your peace. It's making your peace with the whole situation. Is that what's going on now? Come on. I've done it again, and I've gone to the walkway. But yeah, this is Bermondsey. For people that don't know this part of London, it's Bermondsey. Bermondsey, again, nice affluent area, quite nice. We used to have the London Assembly used to be based down there, but our mayor, which I really do not love, has moved to a cheaper place because basically we can't afford to keep it where it is at the moment. So he keeps closing the roads and making it hard for people to move around and stuff. So pay per mile is coming in the UK at some point. It's inevitable. It's coming. It's inevitable. So drive and talks might be a bit expensive to do in the future. Who knows? It might be virtual. No, but seriously, the current mayor is an arsehole. I'm sorry, he is. I don't think he really does do anything for London. I think he's just trying to line the pockets, or in his words, I'm trying to fill a black hole that the previous management have done. So whatever. It's just, you know, it's an agenda in it. They're all in it, if you ask me. Stop people from moving around, stop people from driving, save the world is what they say. But realistically, you know, I mean, I was told he's got a nice BMW driving around with his convertible BMW, and he's driving around, you know, himself in lovely luxury. But yet he's trying to stop people from, you know, Anyway, I want to talk about the mayor because that is a subject now that will make me want to cry. Really, to be fair, I don't believe in our current. In fact, straight up, I don't believe the current authorities in the UK, whether it's local government or central government, is any good. To be honest, I don't think they've been any good for some time. Really, to be fair, and I don't think they're going to be any good going into the future either if we're still here. To be fair, I just don't have any much faith in them. If you ask me. But yes, welcome to Tower Bridge again. Hope you enjoyed our drive and talk, and hopefully you took some comfort from sitting back and watching the content. I would again love if you was to like my content and to be subscribe to the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you absolutely nothing. It's free. The only thing at the moment that is you can say it's free in this world at the moment without having to pay for something in other ways. To be fair, it is actually totally free. Well, as it stands, it is totally free. And yeah, an hour and 21 minutes. That's 0121. Have a great evening. It's actually getting a bit dark now, so we're going on for 6:10 at the moment. And the temperatures dropped to 14 Celsius, and they can see the light is turning in. What a rubbish glimp. What a rubbish day today. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't seem to get my words out today. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, have a lovely morning, a lovely afternoon, a lovely evening. Depends on what time you're watching this and where you're watching it from. Have a lovely one, and thank you if you watched this far. Thank you so much. Lighthouse 11 spirituality.